For most of this country's history, the right to vote was not a right at all. It was a privilege, granted to some, denied to millions, and won only through decades of struggle, sacrifice, and blood. That fight is not over. In fact, it may be closer to your doorstep than you think. In 1870, the 15th Amendment promised that the right to vote could not be denied on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. On paper, it was a revolution. In practice, it was a promise deferred for nearly a century. Because where the law could not openly say no, it found quieter ways. Poll taxes that priced the poor out of democracy. Literacy tests so convoluted that no answer was ever right. Grandfather clauses, white-only primaries, and the constant threat of violence. None of these laws mentioned race. They didn't have to. The paperwork did the work the Constitution forbade, turning eligible citizens away, one form, one fee, one technicality at a time. It took a movement to break that machine. On March 7, 1965, hundreds of peaceful marchers crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, demanding the vote. They were met with clubs and tear gas. The nation watched, and months later, on August 6, 1965, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, outlawing the literacy tests and the schemes, and finally putting the power of the federal government behind the 15th Amendment's promise. People died for this. That is not a figure of speech. It is the price that was paid for the ballot you hold today. But rights secured are not rights kept. In 2013, the Supreme Court, in Shelby County versus Holder, struck down a key protection of the Voting Rights Act. The rule that had required states with a history of discrimination to clear new voting laws with the federal government first. Within hours, states began passing new restrictions. The guardrails were gone, and the old strategy returned, not with signs that say no, but with paperwork. Which brings us to today, and a bill called the SAVE Act. It would require every American to show documentary proof of citizenship, a passport or a birth certificate, in person, in order to register or update their registration. Supporters say it protects election integrity, but voting as a non-citizen is already a serious federal crime, and study after study finds it vanishingly rare. The real question is, who gets caught in the net? Consider this: an estimated 21 million American citizens don't have proof of citizenship readily on hand. Roughly 69 million women have a current last name that doesn't match the one on their birth certificate, because they changed it when they married. Under new documentary rules in New Hampshire, election officials in one case rejected 1 in 4 registration applications from women whose names didn't match their papers. It doesn't say no, it just asks for one more document that millions of eligible citizens don't have. If that sounds familiar, it should. Here is the through line of 2 centuries. When the vote is hard to take by force, it is chipped away by friction. The poll tax and the literacy test are gone, but the strategy of the barrier is not. That is exactly why your vote matters, not as a slogan, but as an inheritance, paid for on a bridge in Selma and defended or lost in our own time. So do 3 things today. Check your registration, even if you're sure it's current. Make sure your ID and your citizenship documents match your name, and fix it now if they don't. And then vote in every election, not just the loud ones. The people who marched didn't do it for 1 November. They did it for everyone that came after. Check your registration at vote.org. Your voice is your inheritance. Use it.